Hello, this is Angelia with today's wisdom. Today's wisdom comes from Daily Ohm, wanting to join, dumbing ourselves down. And I've been guilty of that when I was in school. I was smart, and you know, there were friends of mine who were not so smart. I had a friend in fourth grade who flunked and was held back because that's how it worked back then. Uh, and she wanted me to flunk too and stay back with her, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. No, my parents would kill me. I'm not going to do that. Um, and there are different times. There were girls in high school who wanted me to hang with them, and there were some who wanted me to help them with their homework and copy off mine and everything. And there came a point where I was like, no, I'm not okay with this. You're not learning anything. And they're like, oh, well, we don't want to. But, you know, um, it used to be that being smart and having knowledge was looked down as a good thing, but that's not so much anymore. There are people who are proud of their ignorance and happy, to just remain in it. And I think that's a shame, in a country where at one point in time, years and years ago, we had the smartest folks going and, rocket scientists and things of that nature. And now we have folks who don't even understand that Native Americans come from America. So they can't go back to where they came from because they're from America. Duh. So, wanting to join, dumbing ourselves down. The ability to go into any social situation and sense the level of consciousness in that situation is a gift. And it is. Because, as the saying goes, read the room. I am able, lots of people I know are able, there are people who are not able. And when you get someone like that who kind of goes into places they don't need to go, everybody's just like, ooh. It enables us to move considerately. Considerately. That's kind of something that's lost in, this country for sure today, being considerate. It's a manner I was taught. In a world that holds people of all levels of awareness. Because everybody's not the same. Everybody don't know everything you know, and, you don't want to be condescending to folks. However, there is a difference between shifting our energy to accommodate people and dumbing ourselves down to a regrettable degree. And I don't like that. There are folks who kind of want you to do that. Well, you think that, don't you? You said that. You want it that way too, I know. And like, no, I don't. So, we are who we are. And we shouldn't insult people who are, less knowledgeable than we are. Because that shows that, you are insecure. If you're insecure and cutting on people because they know less than you, I mean, it's okay to teach them and to try and teach them, but, if you say mean things to them, then that's your problem, honestly. Sometimes, when we get into a particular social situation, we may feel pressure to play it small in order to fit in. And like I said, there were girls in high school who wanted me to do that, dumb yourself down, you're pretty. You could be in with us in our little clique, but you're kind of smart. So, we aren't into that. We're into the, material girl kind of thing. And we'd like you to be in our group, but we don't want you to be all smart and talking like you know stuff and acting like you get good grades and stuff like that, And that's a shame. Teach your girls it's okay to be smart. It's okay to be popular and smart. I think kids have learned that more so than they did in the 80s. Perhaps everyone is drinking or smoking excessively, engaging in gossipy small talk, or complaining bitterly about politics. And that's something I got drunk once, and that was enough for me. I was like, oh, that was sucky, and it felt bad. I'm not doing that again. I smoked a couple cigarettes in my life, with friends, and just I didn't like it. It made me cough. It didn't work for me. you know, uh, engaging in gossipy small talk. That is something that I think is very bad, because that shows that you're a small person. If your life has to be gossiping about other people, that says you have no life. You have to look at these other people's lives and discuss their lives because you don't have one. That's what that shows. And complaining bitterly about politics. We just read in the Bible reading I did earlier how there'll be no politics. So all this stuff you're arguing about, getting mad at people about, fussing about politics, it's not going to matter in the end. It's not. Because there's going to be no politics in heaven. So, anybody who's got this hatred of the other side, and I got some problems with the other side, because some of the things that they do, they don't practice what they preach. So I have a problem with that. But no politics in heaven. So arguing excessively about politics doesn't even matter. It's a waste of time and effort, and it's just you wanting to hate and take your frustrations out on somebody else. That's all it is. It is one thing to notice this and modify our expectations, and another thing entirely to join in. Because if you're joining in something that's not so great, you're as guilty as the person who started it. Guilt by association. When we notice where people are coming from and acknowledge to ourselves that their energy is not in alignment with ours, we have several choices as how to proceed. And I have met folks and befriended folks who, the deeper we get into the friendship, I realize, wow, they are so not in line with me, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. I kind of feel like I want to be a good, wise, loving, decent person. And if that's not what they want and not how they behave, then we're not going to get along all that well, because they're going to want me to participate in things I'm not going to want to participate in, and vice versa. So one viable option is to quietly endure the situation, keeping to ourselves until it is time to leave. And I have done that. Been out at events or parties, and someone kind of gloms on to me and, takes, the whole evening of my time or whatever, when I could be talking with other people or whatever. Because I don't believe that, like, if you're in a social situation and a lot of people there, you're supposed to, go around and visit everyone. You're not supposed to, like, stay with this one person. But some people feel that way, and I've come across people who I know feel that way. I've heard comments. But, you're supposed to interact with everyone that you know. And sometimes it's hard when somebody gloms onto you, and you're like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna go talk to so and so over there. And you're not being rude. It's just like, yes, I know people here. I want to talk to them. No offense, I don't know you, and what you're talking about, I don't care about. No offense. You don't want to say that to folks. So, you just politely excuse yourself. In this way, we take care of our own consciousness and protect our growth process. Another option is to interact in a way that honors and pays respect to the people in the group, while gently attempting to shift the level of consciousness with our input. And that's something I do, is like try to change the topic. The topic goes a little too far down places I just don't feel comfortable with. Hey, well, what about, this? Throw something else out there and see if we can get the conversation in a more wholesome direction. In order to do this, we must maintain our own vibration, which means that joining in by dumbing down is not an option. And it's okay to cut loose and go crazy with your friends, but like I say, if you have to pretend to be different than you are to fit in, you don't need to fit in, because you don't fit in. And it's better to find people that you do fit in with than try to be hanging with people that you want to fit in with and you don't fit in with. When we choose to dumb ourselves down to fit in, we not only sell ourselves short, but we also lose a possible opportunity to influence the situation for the good of all concerned. And that, is a good goal in a social situation, is to think about everyone. What is best for everyone concerned. It's not always best for you to like call somebody out, say something mean to them. Now, because I've seen people who do that. And make crass comments and rude, just things. I've heard people say things I would never say to another person, and do things I would never do to another person. And it's like, what is wrong with you? Clearly you got some kind of problem. But, think about how something affects everyone involved. Our desire to join in may come from our natural yearning to feel connected to the people around us. And of course we do that. We're social animals and we want to feel connected. There is no shame in this, but being able to stand on our own, separate from the crowd, is a powerful milestone in any spiritual path. When you can be okay alone, by yourself, that's when you've kind of arrived at you-ness. Because that's what somebody was telling me one time. They hate being alone. They can't stand when no one's there, and they would call me and bug me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm perfectly fine with being alone because I can get more work done when I'm alone. I can get more time in on my hobbies or reading or whatever when I'm alone. So no, I have no problem being alone. A lot of people who have problems being alone is because the chatter in their mind is too loud, and usually it's negative stuff that's being brought up from their past or whatever. And that means they probably could benefit from some therapy. So you should be okay with being alone with yourself. And if you're not, you might want to look into that and see why that is. It can be difficult in the moment, but when we arrive on the other side, our integrity intact, we may find ourselves feeling positively smart. So, if you want to join in with a group of folks and they're just being ignorant and you don't have to come in there and cause trouble and be a smarty pants and say, well, that's wrong and blah blah blah. Like I say, you can excuse yourself. You can go somewhere else, talk to somebody else. If you realize an event is not for you, I've been to many events that I realized it's not for me, and I went once and never went back because I was like, well, now I know. Not going back there. So be true to yourself, as they say. Think about it. Thanks for watching. Please like and share this wisdom so we can spread it around the world. If you want to help me out, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to help me out even more, go to my Patreon page and become a patron. That's all for now. Until next time.